Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a day. A lot of us here, or followers of the channel, viewers of the channel, we're recording this only on YouTube, by the way. That's why I'm saying it that way. But you will recognize me as Mac, one of the co-hosts of the Pro Wrestling World Talks. Dan is here. I decided to open this show because it's a little bit different. Unsafe Words originally was going to be something of a weird comedy show. We never did anything with this because timelines never seemed to timeline very on an aligned basis, I'll say. I'm really excited because this to me is just it was like the cap on a really bad day. As I told Dan, we were talking about this, and it's something that some of us follow Turtle Boy, Aiden Carney. I kind of mentioned on another show, Pro Wrestling World Talks, the Pro Wrestling World Talks. He is predominantly a law tuber, as it's called, in the Boston scene. He did a lot of posts, whether it be on social media, on his website, on YouTube, about the Karen Reed trial. Ran into some legal trouble there as well. He was charged with witness intimidation. He's going through that court battle himself. There are other law tubers I could mention in the Boston media scene as well. Kind of going to step away from that. Not going to discuss too much there. It's a lot, especially if you're only really here for the Pro Wrestling World Talks. But this kind of was a little bit of a hit to Dan and I and other people that maybe went to school with us because we actually know who we're going to talk about. Before we actually have that conversation, what's going on, Dan?
This is this landed in our lap. I think for both of us at the absolute best possible time, because both of us were just kind of feeling pretty hit hard this week. And at about 3:00 this afternoon, I was scrolling through Facebook and I was able to catch a picture of someone, and I thought to myself, "No, that can't be. No, it can't be." And then I click on the story, and then I just start seeing other pictures, and then the name involved, and I immediately just went to myself, well, and I immediately just pressed the share button very fast, and I said, "Gentlemen," and LMAOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOO were just like along the lines of "Get the fuck out of here," and then
No, I don't think that's along the lines of. I think it was exactly that actually.
like like it literally was. This was the equivalent of Finn going into the deli, talking to the Sopranos guys, talking about Vito.
Oh my god. Yeah.
This is the equivalent to that, as far as news stories is concerned to our group. And this is
But you know
multiple
what's
people.
funny, and I think you actually reshared this today. This isn't the first time that this person has been posted about on Turtleboy News.
No, no, this hasn't. The first time was more satirical. This time was more
True.
of an expose on a complete and utter. Um, it like it. This is it. It went from "My God, this is one of the greatest things" to "This is really dark" very quickly. Um,
Yeah,
Also,
it
somebody,
takes some turns.
yeah, it took a lot of turns, and not for the best either. Like, there's nothing really out of this story that I sat there and I was just like, well, he doesn't look great, like, at all. Like, not even like, there's no good parts about this for him at all. And I guess you reap what you sow in life, right? It's
I
just how it
guess
is.
so. So I pulled this earlier. I pulled it from the website so I could make it a little bit easier to digest. If anybody wants to follow along, we'll go through this entire thing because. But so again, this is a download from the Turtleboy website. So Aiden Carney, who is Turtleboy, wrote this article himself. It does say 4 hours ago. It's more like 6 to 8 now. I pulled it earlier, so it's been some time. However, the headline basically is Wachusett Youth Football League in danger of bankruptcy after parents file a lawsuit for banning kids due to boyfriend's behavior and alleged threats to gouge out eyeballs. So, this obviously, you pulled this from, either a website or some way to pull the video, because that's exactly what it was. She was interviewed by Channel 5, it looks like, in the Boston area. This is Jeff Berkowitz, the male, and Michelle Govan from Holden, Massachusetts, by the way. So the next thing so again, we're gonna do this as like slides, right? The next video or picture is a picture of Jeff and his girlfriend in a very obvious backdrop.
Sorry.
That's quite all right. So again, like, to be serious for a second, like, we're laughing because we know this person. So, to be fair, all right, because we know him, we do find it a little funny.
It's funny, but it's not.
It's funny because we know who he is.
Yes.
But the story is not funny.
It's not funny. It's not a funny story at all. But
it's not.
Knowing this person and also some of the things that were discussed in this story, I really wasn't surprised. I'm ashamed at myself.
I think his behavior is fucking appalling. I'm just gonna say it out loud.
It is. It's
fucking
terrible.
appalling.
Like the whole thing is. Just
we'll
terrible.
get to the entire behavior.
It's just all of it is just terrible.
Right. And listen, everything is the court of opinion here. We're reading this from a perspective of Turtleboy'S is leaking this information out there as news. There are court documents to prove that some of these things happen. Right. Mm-hmm. It's not outlandish to think these things. Right. If there wasn't the documentation and if it wasn't from a third-party source, being Turtleboy is considered a news source, we wouldn't be talking about this. I would argue we probably wouldn't even know about it, not for nothing, if this wasn't out there.
Because as much as he would think that some of us would, our whole minds and our whole body has always been to screw him over, at least some people. So of course he would think.
Listen, I'm not even gonna get into some of the stuff that this kid has said to us. Okay, like first of all, I'm not trying to get sued. All right, that's the first thing I'm
saying. I'm not saying anything.
Hold on. Right, he does not like me. Okay, no. I have no love for him. I am reading a news outlet source and court documents. Or documentation that he has written and attested to. Yes. I am not sitting here and saying any of the shit that this person has said to me over the years. I'm not going to do that. No. Because if he's willing to do what he is doing, right? So let's go back, okay, just real quick to kind of cover what the story here is. Wachusett Youth Football League in danger of bankruptcy after parents file a lawsuit banning kids due to boyfriend's behavior and alleged threats to gouge out eyeballs. So first of all, I like my eyes, even though I wear glasses. I'm not trying to get them gouged out. I know that's not towards him, but again, just saying, okay. The second one is I'm not trying to get sued. So I know the law. I know laws. I'm not going to say shit that this person has said to me over the years. I will say stuff that he has already attested to in a court of public opinion and court of law. So just saying. Just saying, in case people are like, holy shit. I want to be clear.
On that line.
I know what the line is. So anyways, apparently, I don't know if this is from Facebook or whatever. She's an IV nurse, and he's a personal trainer. And again, this is according to Mr. Carney, Turtleboy. He is apparently a well-known local queef.
That was within the first like 2 or 3 paragraphs of that where I
don't think we've gone a paragraph yet.
No,
I think we've gone 3 sentences.
Nor I didn't even know his reputation was that bad. Like locally, I just didn't because the thing about it is that this person I knew, like friends, we have been in the past. I think also the last couple of years, I think maybe he was the one that maybe the initiated the pushing away for some reason. I don't know. I'm
Hey,
kind of
listen,
glad that
man.
he, in
I
retrospect, I'm
wasn't
glad
even
he
thinking
did.
that. The big thing I was thinking of all day after I read the story was somebody's MMA career. That's all I'll say. I digress. So that's Jeff. That's Jeff right there. I don't know why we needed him in a suit, but apparently Torty Boy was able to find that picture. I'm assuming there's some social media like digging into them. I don't know, or I don't know if their profiles are public, but this is why I wear a mask, guys. Just throw that out there. That's also Jeff. Apparently, he was a bodybuilder of some kind for a little bit. He does not look like
Hmm.
that now, if you couldn't tell.
Hmm.
This is one of his girlfriend Michelle's posts. So excited to see all the incredible women who won Best of Boston. What an inspiring group. I'm especially proud and humbled by the amazing women who reached out to say they voted for me. I didn't take home the win this year, but having been in business for just over a year, it means everything to feel this kind of support. Thank you for believing in small businesses. This is only the beginning, excuse me. The Ivy nurses, Jeff S. Bergowitz, Lyra Miller, and Ashley Somers. I don't know who those people are. That's okay. Um, so I guess they're just trying to like show who these people are, basically, with showing some of this stuff. Apparently, this is another post. I'm not going to read this entire post. I don't think it's necessary to read everything on this article unless it's something that's kind of, again, being portrayed in a certain way. I guess it is important to say that it is some stuff here I probably should read because it does pertain to the overall story. She is a single mom. She is a Marine Corps veteran as well. Single mom of 10-year-old autistic twins and one super energetic 6-year-old. Jeff also has a child of his own through a previous marriage. They consider basically each other's step parents and stepkids and stuff like that. They're trying to blend the family. Um, I'm not going to ask you, and I don't want you to answer. Just throwing that out there, Dan. I believe they're engaged. I'm not 100% sure. I think they've been dating for less than 3 years. I think this is information that Turtleboy does talk about, but I just kind of want to throw that out there. I had a long-term relationship. I considered that person's daughter my stepkid as well. Just, it's not that unnormal, but in that time frame, it's a little weird. Anyways, moving on. So again, I need to look at a different screen. She see me looking off. That's why. Her 3 sons and his son live in a blended family together. Kind of like I said, he would talk about this and participate in youth sports. However, they made headlines in September when they sued the Wachusett Youth Football Program for allegedly discriminating, I can talk, against
A
their children.
youth football program.
Oh, well, he talks about this. Hold on. There is an article. He does not. He gives you a link to the article. I did not click on the link because he has snippets here, so I'm just going to read through the snippets. I'm not going to pull up all the entire article or documentation. Just going to throw that out there now. We're only going to focus on the Turtleboy article, so forgive me. A Sterling family, that's where they're from, just in case people are unaware, is taking legal action against Wachusett Youth Football and Cheer Inc. after their son with autism was kicked off the team. The league has no tryouts, and all are usually included. The Berkowitzes, again, I guess they're a blended family, even though they're not married, believe their children are being treated differently. They are devastated, absolutely crushed, Jeff Berkowitz said. His 10-year-old, I'm just going to say Cody. I'm not going to call him by his full name. I'm sorry. I know he refers to his son as Cody. That's the only thing I'm going to say. His name is listed here anyways. We're not going to talk too much about the kids outside of the story, but again, just throwing it out there. His son Cody and 10-year-old stepsons Micah and Liam are now banned from Wachusett Youth Football because Micah allegedly threatened to gouge out eyeballs of other players, according to the family's lawsuit. Go see if this 10-year-old boy is actually going to gouge out somebody's eyeballs. 1, he's 10. 2, he's autistic. 3, did he mean it? Is it a true threat? Said Peter Farrell, the family attorney. The league has not responded since filing of the lawsuit, but previously said, quote, "We want to make it clear that the family has asked to leave due to the parents' actions, not the children," end quote. The family, however, disputes this claim. Quote, he got discriminated against because of his disability, end quote, Jeff Berkowitz said. He's never had a problem before. Okay. All the boys have played in previous years. The legal complaint has emails back and forth with the league where the parents are asking for answers on how they can get their kids back on the field. They were unanimously voted to get kick out. Man, let me start that one again. Sorry. They were unanimously voted to kick all of us off because we called the town to get clarification on the rules since they used the town field, end quote, Michelle Govin, the mother, said. I don't know if it's Govin or Gavin, so I apologize.
No, it doesn't matter.
Just saying. They said there were no allegation of Liam or Cody doing anything wrong. The family says they are not looking for monetary damages. They are looking for equitable playing field and want the kids back on the gridiron.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
then, okay,
right. So it seems so. Hold on, right? So up to this point, this seems innocuous, right? It seems like okay, maybe there is some wrongdoing by the league, and maybe they could have handled things differently.
Right.
But it goes on.
Yes.
But it goes on.
There's still benefit of the doubt on that first page. Not so much as time goes on, but there's still some benefit of the doubt.
Right.
A sliver.
So I have to give Turtleboy credit because of the writing style that he employs. That's a good setup.
It's a good hook.
But here's where he starts.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay, so Turtleboy says, first of all, I don't know why Jeff is calling his kids, his stepsons, since he's not married or engaged to her. So apparently they're not engaged. I misspoke there. I thought they were. Secondly, though, he goes on, blaming autism for a kid threatening to gouge out another kid's eyeballs out is insulting to anyone who has loved a loved one on the spectrum. Thirdly, yes, it is true if one kid tells another kid he's going to gouge Zab out, he's gonna do it. Basically is what he's trying to say, right? It's a threat if one kid tells another kid, I'm gonna gouge out your eyeballs. Fourthly, and this one is me right here, right? Who sues a youth sports nonprofit? Evidently, this lawsuit, which has been moved from the Worcester Superior Court to federal court, is threatening to bankrupt the Youth Football Insurer Association.
Absolutely disgusting.
According to a Facebook post on New Year's Eve.
You know better.
Yep. According to a Facebook post on New Year's Eve, the league might have to shut down next year because they're running out of money to pay legal fees and have had to start a GoFundMe page. And this was that post. I'm going to put it up right now. I'm not going to read the entire post, but it briefly talks about the situation a little bit without going into too much detail. It goes into some, but not a lot. It does name them in the post too, ironically enough. So, I mean, this is already a bad look. Really bad. Again, like,
it's a really bad
take
look.
Everything out of the situation, right? Like, I understand that the kids might have a right to play, but if you have to remember, like, we have a friend who is, and people that are teachers might be able to help us here in the comments or something, but we have a friend that is partnered, I'll say, just to keep everything copacetic here.
Mm-hmm.
Partner is a teacher, and said that special services that are provided by the school district typically end at the door.
Usually that's correct.
Correct.
Because I work,
that's exactly what I was going to say, right?
Yeah.
So the next comment is, certain services will extend into sports and other activities if it's provided by the school district.
Yes, this isn't provided by the school district.
This is a nonprofit organization.
Nonprofit organization, so it doesn't extend your it is called an individual ed plan, and that is what each student has. It's called an IEP. It's called an individual ed plan. So you have to make sure that you meet the requirements of each kid's individual ed plan.
Correct. Yep.
that does not cross. So that could work out if he's in a club or an organized sport. That does not extend, however, to a nonprofit kind of, youth football and youth cheerleading program. That doesn't extend to that. So that to me is like the first step of just like, now you're just being an asshole. Like this is clear. You're pushing things and pushing a narrative, and it's ruining things for other people. That's the thing, like that I hate about this whole thing. It's ruining things for kids. It's ruining things for the parents. It's ruining for the people that are involved with this program that spend the time to do so. And it also puts a bad look too at people that work in public education too and private education, because a lot of these people are doing it on their own dime and they're volunteering, and you're just pissing up against them. You're pissing uphill against people that are serving times on the weekends and working extra time so that way their kids can have a good experience. And yeah.
I mean, I feel like he hit it on the head, man. It's like you're ruining it for everybody. You know when they tell you as a kid, don't ruin it for everybody? This is ruining it for everybody.
It is. It's very on, it's there's just certain things that you just don't do. And this is one of them. Like, you don't go after things that kids are involved in where it's going to ruin it for everybody else. And it's
remember
just,
that thing,
you just
Dan?
don't do that.
You remember that, like, and I know there'll be a lot of people that remember it, but like, this is why we can't have nice things.
Yes.
This is why we can't have nice things.
This is exactly why we can't have nice
things. This is why we can't have nice things.
Yes. And it's just,
don't be the asshole to ruin it for everybody, man. Like, just don't. And I get it. Like, I know there's people out there that are gonna feel a certain way about this story, but just don't ruin it for everybody else. It is a non-profit organization.
He's just a Karen. That's pretty much what I'm getting from all this. Like him, and it's just, all he is pretty much just making himself look out to be almost like a Karen. Of just like,
listen, there's more. We haven't even gotten there yet, so let's maybe hold off. Yeah, I agree. So he starts leaning into this now. Obviously, this Turtle Boy, but he goes on to say, what would possibly inspire two parents to do something that would end a youth football and cheering league? Let's take a look at the lawsuit they filed in September. So again, he has legal documentation. Apparently these are them. I didn't do much research into this to see them. I just want to make that clear. I am not a YouTuber that we talked about. I'm just not. But again, I want to try to be fair here to the fact that this information is out there. Like, we could find it if we wanted to. Right? First thing that stood out to him, he says, is that Berkowitz wasn't permitted to coach his kid's team this year despite it coaching in the past. So apparently line 18, he has it highlighted here, for reasons that remain unknown and for unspecific reasons. Neither Berkowitz nor Child 1's grandfather, we don't know who that is, were permitted by the defendant to volunteer to coach this year, despite their heavy involvement and presence in prior years without incident. So that makes me question what changed, first of all, which I have no idea, obviously. But the next thing here that is without incident, which means we're going to talk about some incidences. He goes on to write, according to sources, I can't talk. We spoke with Jeff, as a notorious douchemongrel who has coached youth sports in the past.
Damn it.
But he has creeped out other parents by inviting their kids over to his house to do weightlifting. On his Facebook page, he has a video of his then 9-year-old son doing topless deadlifts while critiquing him about tightening up his core. I don't know if anybody's getting the sense of the type of person that Jeff Berkowitz appears to be, but if you know anything about just body development, you shouldn't have a 9-year-old doing deadlifts.
Nope.
It's also a little creepy to probably a lot of people. I don't know. Me personally, I'd be a little weirded out if somebody, coach or not, invited my kid over to weightlift. I'd be a little weirded out by that.
Yeah, I mean,
and I'm not a fucking parent. Just being transparent. It's a little weird.
It's very yeah, like it.
Someone who says Jeff is a douche mongrel, that's somebody else's opinion. But I agree.
There's certain
and that's
there's certain things that you should never do now, and that's kind of be like, oh, why don't you come over to my house to weightlift? When there's
public
documentaries. There's documentaries that have been done, in the past of certain people of their kids went over to this guy's house, and it's just like, and I'm not making that accusation whatsoever.
Yeah.
I want that perfectly clear, allegedly. That's what this whole episode should be just called, allegedly. So, because
I'm actually okay with that. That's hilarious. It's on brand for us.
Allegedly.
I know this is a kind of a new thing we're doing. I know people might see this and not watch our other content, but like that really is for you and I. That's on brand. Allegedly.
There's going to be several people. There is going to be several people that we know that from other places that haven't watched shit of our show on wrestling, which is fine. Like, because I get it. They've moved on with their lives. They could give a shit about Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes. But I guarantee you that they are going to watch this because they're going to want to hear our opinion, allegedly, of what has gone on, allegedly, with this person that's involved.
Allegedly.
Because they all went to school with them, and they all... Look, there's...
Allegedly.
Look, all right. Allegedly, okay, let's just say this, okay, folks? Allegedly, there was a reason, allegedly, that when my 40th birthday came around, allegedly, that certain people could not be invited to that party because no one liked him, allegedly. So it's just...
I feel like that was another time he did that, but
there have been plenty of times.
I'm not as bold as you. I'm gonna preface with that in terms of allegedly saying allegedly this, allegedly that. I'm just saying, but I appreciate you. I also want to interject because I want to get this picture off the screen really badly of him critiquing his son.
God, yes.
So apparently, Turtleboy or somebody associated with Turtleboy found this Jeff Berkowitz post from December 29th, 2024. We blurred out all, or I shouldn't say we. Turtleboy has blurred out all of the kids' faces. I 100% respect that. I think that should be done to protect the kids. I'm all for that.
Yes, I
digress.
I feel bad for the kids in this situation, so it's like the last thing. I don't want to mock the kids.
I agree, but also they shouldn't need to see that or be.
No, they shouldn't.
No. But I also feel that Cody, not for nothing, shouldn't see this when he gets older because
I agree.
This is disgusting. So Jeff, again, on December 29th of 2024, posted a video of his son, or at least a picture of it, I can't tell, of his son, and he puts, needs to tighten up the core a little bit and do some priming work. Could help to stabilize the hips more, but all in all, not bad at all for his first time ever performing a deadlift. And he has a couple hashtags: strong, start him young, deadlift, proud dad. As I said, just before I read the rest of it, what Turtleboy says, this isn't smart. I understand he was a personal trainer or is a personal trainer, apparently. But I agree, you start them with fitness young. You don't start them like trying to build muscle young. Just, I'm not a doctor, but that's the thing. Anyways,
it's kind of a bold strategy when you're a personal trainer, when you're selling yourself on your name, and this situation happens.
Yeah, we'll get into that later.
Yeah,
because I feel that it applies to both of them. I know she's an IV nurse, and it seems like she's very active in doing things associated to that. I don't know anything about her, honestly, just from what he has posted here. I kind of got whole inklings basically, but it's just I don't think this does either of them any favors, honestly. But we'll get into that. So apparently, Turtleboy goes on to say he also reportedly uses foul language around the kids and coaches like it's 1955. Great analogy. I wish he took that a step further to give me a name, but I could live with that. He does give Jeff a name from here on out, though, it seems.
Oh my god, I love this name.
Yeah. And I think that's... I wish he just said it and dropped it, but I thought it was hilarious either way. He starts referring to Jeff as Bear Bryant Berkowitz. And if you don't know what that means, just look it up, please.
Just look it up.
Just look it up. We'll be here all night talking about that.
He has to, I wonder if he has the hat.
Oh, God.
Someone get him the hat.
Oh my God. I cried. I cried with joy. Okay. This is why I told Dan, I was like, I need to lead into this episode. I need to.
Yes. No, this was you winning the World Series, Super Bowl, NBA championship, and Stanley Cup combined. It's like I just fucking main evented 10 WrestleManias in a row.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think I've already said it. Like, I was not Jeff Berkowitz's biggest fan when I met him, or a time since I had met him. I hate's a strong word. I don't think I ever really hated Jeff Berkowitz. I just had a strong and utter distaste for Jeff Berkowitz.
Yes.
I'm not wearing the mask because of that. Just to be clear, it's a gimmick. I just wear a mask, whatever. But again, if you know me, you know the sound of my voice. I didn't like Jeff Berkowitz. Anyways,
he can't sue you for that. So
yeah,
he can't sue us for anything in this episode because it's like we're just like.
But the thing is, it's like we know who he is, but we're not giving our personal accounts per se, right?
Well, I'm sure. Well,
somewhat to the degree that it's like he could come after us.
There might be one I might talk about later because
so just don't fucking talk about it, bitch. I want to get sued. Oh man, that's a fucking inside joke right there that I just remembered too. Anyways, Bear Bryant Berkowitz's lawsuit included an I love that name. Lawsuit included an email he wrote to the WNBC. Sorry.
WNBC
president, and I'm gonna butcher this person's name, John Madraccia, in July, regarding an incident that occurred with the league director Ben Bachant. Sorry, I'm bad with names. According to Berkowitz himself, he disciplined his son in a manner, that was appropriate to the situation. He quotes, which apparently was so egregious that it caught the attention of Bachant, who asked him to stop yelling at his kid in front of everyone. All right, I gotta put the page here. Berkowitz claims that he was well within his rights as a parent, apparently, to yell at his son, and was asked to leave the field. He said that this basic request for civility felt like more intimidation and bullying. Apparently that's what Jeff felt like in that moment.
Allegedly.
Apparently allegedly. Whatever, man. And he demanded that the league director be disciplined for violating the league's anti-bullying policy. So apparently, it looks like on or about July 27, 2025, Child One's parent, Mr. Berkowitz, wrote to the WYFC. I keep wanting to say WNBC, man. It's so bad.
WNBC!
All right, maybe that will help.
We wouldn't be so bad if we weren't so good.
In context, that's hilarious.
Howard Stern's outside my fucking dressing room.
That I felt like Howard Stern.
Don Imus was the biggest DJ in New York.
I felt like all of them.
Hey now.
I felt like all of them today. Yep. I don't know what could have made this day better. I just don't know.
Sydney Sweeney walking into your apartment, maybe?
All right, moving on. President John Madraccia, regarding the incident that occurred with the football, and that's like cut off basically, so I don't see kind of like what it says at the top. But this is what Jeff writes. Director Ben Bachant. I'm writing to express my concern about an incident that occurred with Ben, the football director, on July 24th, 2025. At approximately 5:40 p.m., I was on the field throwing football with my son and my stepsons. During that time, I had to discipline my son in a manner that was appropriate to the situation. To my surprise, Ben yelled across the field, stating I could not yell at my son. I want to be clear that I was not acting inappropriately and I was well within my rights as a parent. Ben then Ben then proceeded to say that I wasn't supposed to be on the field, even though this occurred before practice began. His public remarks were unwarranted and frankly felt more like intimidation or bullying than constructive communication. At the first practice, Ben clearly stated that coaches would be held to the same standards as parents, with a zero tolerance policy for inappropriate behavior. Following his actions during this incident did not reflect those standards. As you know, both WYFC and CMYF.
WNBC.
I don't know what we can do to fuck the other one though. Maintain zero tolerance policies regarding bullying, and I believe this situation falls within that category. And then it says a true and accurate copy of this email is attached here to Exhibit 2A. That's pertaining to the lawsuit the Berkowitzes have filed. I'm going to just finish this page out just real quick because it's only a couple more sentences, and then we'll talk about it. You got that? Jeff was screaming at his kids to the point where another adult had to intervene and ask him to leave the field. And this made Jeff, I love this, an alleged grown man, the victim of bullying and intimidation. What a loser!
Yes.
And apparently, I don't know if this is that same field, but here's a picture of one of the kids. Might be Cody, I don't know. Could be one of the other ones, doesn't matter. And our Jeff Berkowitz. I just... Listen, again, court of opinion. We weren't there. We can't really speak to...
Allegedly.
How all this is being said. However, these are court documents, right? So they should be obviously taken with a grain of salt, but
and a written
maybe don't yell at your
him.
Kids in public.
And a written email from him admitting that he was yelling and saying that it was appropriate to the situation. So, he did admit that he was yelling, but it's hearsay to what levels it was at.
So I mean, here's the thing, man. I can't speak to this. You and I can't speak to this. We're not parents really, but like a lot of communities are very tight knit. A lot of sports programs and stuff like that is very tight knit. I think when you cry, and allegedly, but it does not feel to me that this rose to bullying standards, right? And Machondria's response or whatever his name is, we'll get to that in a second. But like, I don't think that's bullying to be like, hey, don't yell at your kid.
No, I don't think it is.
I don't think that's bullying. And I think you need to understand that and kind of like Turtleboy is alluding to here, I'm not going to speak for that guy. Aiden Carney's his own person, but it almost seems like he kind of agrees in the stance of saying like, dude, grow up. Grow up. Don't yell at your fucking kid, number one, and then don't cry wolf about being called out or calling somebody else out for bullying you about it. Just don't yell at your fucking kid.
They have, especially in this state, because I believe there was an incident a few years back, I believe it was in more of the metro area of Boston, where a parent actually like shot another parent like in an ice rink or something. It happened.
Oh, dude, area. You hear about all these parents at these sporting things. Man. It's wild.
Just, and they're pulling guns. So there's a zero tolerance policy for this stuff. And there should be. And the fact is if the coach feels like that you're yelling too much to your kid, listen to him and shut up.
Yeah.
Like, because you're going to ruin it for the rest of your kids, and you're ruining it also for, the other kids that are involved in the program.
We'll
So,
get more to that in a minute, but
yeah.
you're 100% right. So after, excuse me, after we see that picture again of him and Cody on the field, we don't know if that's the same field or not. Doesn't really matter. Aiden Carney, Turtleboy, goes on to say the bullying complaint went nowhere, and a month later, on September 2nd, Jeff was back and causing more problems when his kid's coach, his name's Patterson, accused Berkowitz of abusing his girlfriend's son while disciplining him. Again, he's accusing Jeff Berkowitz of abusing his girlfriend's son while he was disciplining him. But Shant allegedly told Jeff that the kid he was screaming at didn't seem like he really wanted to play football. So another document here again on 23, which Aiden Carney says on July, or I'm assuming it's just a document. I shouldn't say it that way. On July 30th, 2025, Mandracia, again, I'm going to butcher that name, I apologize, responded in part saying, after reviewing all perspectives, I've determined that there is not enough evidence to conclude that Ben's actions rose to the level of bullying. So he basically agrees, as we kind of mentioned, that that's not bullying to say don't yell at your kid. However, he has addressed your concerns with him directly and reminded him of the importance of maintaining a respectful and professional tone in all interactions, especially when speaking in front of others. So, we don't know what was said. That's what they're documenting. We have no idea what was basically said to him. Could have been nothing. Could have been like, what a loser. I digress. WYFCC Vice President Tom Galvin, who is
WNBC.
Who is CC. I got you. Vice President Tom Galvin, who is CC'd in this email, has been on the field every day. So that makes it even more sus. Please inform him or myself if there are any future conflict with Ben. So let's be real. For those that speak politic, he's trying to basically be like, all right, calm down. He's trying to be like appeasing Jeff and not taking any action, but being polite about it, basically.
Right.
So again, they true and accurate document pushed, blah, blah, blah. Line 24 says, on September 2nd, 2025, Coach Patterson, father of player 1 squared, I guess, accused plaintiff, Mr. Berkowitz, of abusing Miss Galvin's younger son, child 3, while disciplining him. Just for the people that maybe don't watch stuff like this, they say child 1, child 2, child 3 to protect children. Like we talked about. So we're going to do the same. We're not going to use any children's names unless it's being written out. But court documentation is not going to have that. Just want to be clear for people that don't watch stuff like this. On September 3rd, 2025, football director Ben Bachant made remarks that specifically implied child 1 was not suitable to play football based on his disability, which is autism, including, doesn't seem like he wants to be here, doesn't put in much effort, is unsafe on the line, he freezes on the line, and is a danger to himself. Is he mentally mature enough to be on the team? And what if he has a breakdown on the field? Okay. So, let's be real. For the people that know a lot about individuals on the spectrum, you might have an understanding of that. For those that don't or don't know anybody on the spectrum at all, I would just educate yourselves, please. Just that's all I'm going to say. We're not going to touch on disabilities and stuff like that. That's not appropriate to do so. But that needs to be understood. Like, those are concerns. Maybe not so much the doesn't seem like he wants to be there part. Maybe not the effort part. But if he's freezing up, that's unsafe. Okay? I have to be equitable and fair, though. There are plenty of people that have disabilities that are able to manage them and work through them.
Right.
But again, this is somebody who works for a nonprofit and needs to have certain concerns. And what the Berkowitzes, because I don't remember the girlfriend's last name, what they're doing is really harmful to that because these people don't make money.
No, they don't.
It's a nonprofit organization, and it's a helpful one, giving kids I want to say something to do, obviously, but
Right.
it's just a lot of skills that are tied to team sports that you can build.
Yes.
And you and I have been
It
in
builds a good
sports.
development. Yes.
Yeah, you and I have been in sports as kids. Like, we both know that. It's just, it was very important to us. So they're putting a lot of that at risk, and that needs to be well said and clear, right? And a lot of people understand that, and they're making comments out in social media that we're not going to share any of that stuff unless it's in this article. It's just, it's a lot, and we don't want to bring harm to other people by doing that either. And it's just, it's not fair. But it's just, you need to like think about these things sometimes, like, you know, mental illnesses, and really understand what goes into that. And I understand that sometimes there are parents out there that like push their kids with disabilities to do things. And this for me falls in that same category of like, just please educate yourselves. Just please, like, recognize that if there are things that they can and can't do and somebody else is telling them that, to maybe just respect their decision, and maybe not fight back with, oh well, this is you're discriminating against me. There is plenty of that still happens, don't get me wrong, but if like, this can't be viewed as just that, right? And that's the big thing. Because as we'll go on, we'll find out more about Mr. Berkowitz and Miss Michelle Garvin, and all of their just stuff that he finds. It's just wild to me. So Turtleboy goes on to say, just as a reminder, Michelle Garvin's 3 kids are not, he says he means Jeff's kids. He is not their father or their stepfather because they're not married. He's simply the guy who's been dating their mother for the last year or so. So, like I said, like, I dated somebody, I called her kid my stepkid. I was also with her for 10 years.
Right.
Not for the last year or so.
Right.
So, I get it though. Like, there's people out there that are just like, no, you know, like, that's not your stepkid. And I'd be like, yeah, you're right. But, you know, it's a different relationship. It just feels weird, especially years later, and then like last year or so. If that's only how long they've been dating, I wouldn't be calling her kids that. That is a little weird.
It's just
A little weird.
yeah, it's there's a lot of questionable things going on, allegedly.
Oh yeah, so let's keep going. The fun doesn't stop, apparently.
No, this is a fun ride.
I'm already having a blast. Anyways,
I keep checking my phone for some reason, probably because, you know, I'm like, you know, because there's a part of me that thinks that
something more is going to come out of this.
Someone might reach out to me and be like, "Hey, could you host something with me?" I'll be like, "We are not having a conversation."
If any of our friends asked us that, I'd be like, let's talk about that first. But maybe. A definite maybe. All right. So Turtleboy goes on to say that the lawsuit went on to say, excuse me, so apparently he's saying the lawsuit went on, that after the incident with Gavin's son, Madrakia called them and told them that her son couldn't attend practice due to multiple complaints from last week. So I don't know if that's what's being indicated on what we just wrote from the court documents or anything, but naturally, Berkowitz blamed the son of the coach who reprimanded him for bullying Gavin's son.
Of course.
Because, you know, I'm just going to say it this way, and I am not saying he is. Okay. But everybody I know who falls into this narcissist category seems to have a big lack of accountability. I didn't say he was. Mm-hmm. I said I felt that. You have to listen, Dan.
I understand. Yes.
You have to listen.
No, you're right.
I said everybody that I felt that I knew that was a narcissist has a zero lack of accountability. That's what I said. That's
what you said, exactly.
We could rewatch this in post, and I'm gonna have a lot of fun because
You're right.
I will prove the fact that I know that's what I said.
That is exactly what you said. It's exactly what you said.
But I won't say it. Nice try. All right. So this goes on. Where am I here? Because I feel like I'm on the wrong page. Am I on the wrong page? Where am I? All right, that's that. That's that. Okay. So, line 27. On September 3rd, 2025, at approximately 1:41 p.m., WNBC WYFC President John Madatria telephoned the plaintiffs and stated that child one could not attend practice because of multiple complaints last week, but provided no details, apparently. On line 28, prior to this time, player 1, son of Coach Patterson, and player 2 squared, dude, I don't know why you do it that way. Do you like player 10? Like, damn. Player 2 squared, have repeatedly bullied child 1, which I'm assuming is one of her kids, by throwing him to the ground and telling him, you suck, and then it cuts off. According to Jeff Berkowitz, Govin's 6-year-old son, holy crap, who he wrongly calls his stepson, I love it, kicked over water bottles and yelled, I'm not picking it up, when his mother told him to. Berkowitz admits he grabbed the 6-year-old's arm and demanded that the child make eye contact with him because it is a sign of respect to look at a person in the eye when they're talking to you.
Oh my God.
This is what caused Coach Patterson to jump in and say something, at which point, again, Bear Bryant Berkowitz told Patterson he didn't need his parenting advice. Berkowitz admitted that he could have handled it differently and intended to apologize to the coach. So, before I move on here, and I'll read Jeff's statement about that, I'm just going to go, no fucking shit, you could have handled it better.
You could have said that on page 1.
This is why I smoke weed. I swear to God.
Good Lord.
That's why I smoke weed.
Yeah, I know.
All right. Line 34. On September 3rd, 2025, at 2:12 p.m., Mr. Berkowitz followed up with Manadratria. Dude, it feels like the name's changed all the time. I can't even read it. Following the telephone conversation earlier and to address Coach Patterson on the incident that occurred on September 2nd, towards the end, these highlights are done by Turtleboy, I'm assuming. I just, whatever. So if I seem like I'm highlighting those points more when I speak, that's why. Towards the end of practice last night, I was having a discussion with my stepson. He had kicked over a couple of water bottles, and his mother asked him to pick it up, and he snapped back at her and said, no, I'm not picking it up. I turned back to Jameson, I'm assuming that's one of the kids or the kid in question, I don't know, and told him, enough with the back talk. And in parentheses, it says, as this has been ongoing behavioral issues. Apparently, they've been having behavioral issues that they're seeing at home, maybe, and maybe that's translating now in this incident. We don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I then explained that the back talk is not acceptable from the older 3, meaning his brother and Jeff's son, and it's not acceptable from him either. I asked if he understood, and while looking at the ground and jumping around, what? I grabbed his arm to hold him still and asked him to make eye contact with me because it's a sign of respect to look a person in the eye when they're talking to you, and asked him again if he understood, and he said yes. All right, so long run-on sentence notwithstanding, Jeff, don't do that. It was at this time that Coach Patterson began to, I don't know what he means, what I perceived as telling me how to parent my child. I was then defensive and told him I didn't ask for his parenting advice. Okay. We'll talk about that. In the moment, I felt I was being judged on my parenting and being told how to parent my child. Certainly, this situation could have been handled better by myself, and I intend to apologize to Coach Patterson upon our next meeting. And again, it says, this was attached to the exhibit. Again, pertaining to this lawsuit that he's filed. So first of all, dude, just don't fucking do shit like that. And then maybe you won't have another parent telling you how to parent. Also, I don't know if it says Jeff's age. Jeff's in his 40s.
Mm-hmm.
This is not how you act.
No.
This is like a high schooler being a parent.
Yep.
Like
it is,
dude. I just can't. This is wild to me. And if his son really is jumping up and down, or I'm sorry, her son is jumping up and down. No
keep
comment.
biting my
No,
lip.
I just, yeah, allegedly, whatever. I just, if that's all, if his, I'm sorry, here's how I should say this, right? If his accounting for the events that transpires is legitimate, and that's what really happened, I don't think saying the eye contact stuff to somebody that's on the spectrum is appropriate.
If the child is on the spectrum.
If it's that child that we're talking about, yeah. Who even knows? Who even knows?
I don't know at this point. I don't know.
But if that's the case, don't do that.
You know, it's just any child for that matter. It's like...
Yeah, I don't think that's appropriate either.
You don't need to make a scene like that publicly. Grab the child's arm for knocking a bottle over and saying no.
Right.
Yes, there's a way of reprimanding the child publicly, but you know, just you don't want to cause a scene like
this
that.
Is like a douchebag behavior. Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it is.
It just is very, very on brand. I felt like. Anyways, moving on. So Turtle Boy goes on to say, "Yeah,
spicy.
Oof, got myself with that one.
Yes.
Damn. I don't think I really realized how bad what I said until you were like, like a wounded duck.
Because I'm sitting here now, and I'm just like, I'm holding everything in, and I'm just like, ah. But now you're just like, very odd. And I'm like, ah.
Because I love this.
I know you do.
I hate the fucking story. I have to be transparent. Like, the story is awful.
The story is terrible, but the person involved, it's kind of...
Yes.
Won't see him no more. Like, it's just like, it's just how it's just...
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Listen, I don't know how he perceives me. I don't care, right? Like, I never really cared enough to really give a shit how or what he thinks about me as a person or whatever. But I'm just like sitting here like, go ahead. Go ahead. Just try. Just try, please.
Because I don't know really if there's anything he could.
But that's why I'm saying it. No, Dan, 100%. That's why I'm saying it. Because
exactly,
there's nothing.
There's nothing. Like, it's just there's nothing. Like,
all right. Anyways, so I got it. I just I love this. I'm sorry. Pro tip, though, Turtle Boy goes on to say, if you're suing someone for doing you wrong, I love this. Don't admit that you were in the wrong and say that you intend to apologize for your behavior.
Pro tip.
The incident was apparently so egregious that Patterson and the league filed a complaint with the DCF, Department of alleging abuse.
Berkowitz, you don't want to fucking the one group you don't want to fuck with.
You do not want a DCF case. Just you don't. Because usually that's a pretty it's an indicator. Just say it that way. Berkowitz called this an act of retaliation, and said it was against state and federal law to file the report.
Oh my God, no.
Listen. I'm not gonna say shit here about any one person or any one thing, but and Turtle Boy goes on to say this actually.
Well, I can also
hold on.
Turtle Boy too. So
right, and there are plenty of people can. Right, if you know anything about, especially the educational system, which you obviously know about, Dan. I'm not going to say anything else after that, but you know a little bit about it more so than I would. But I at least know that again, what Turtleboy puts in this article is 100% factual. Before we get to what that is, it's basically
I'm
go ahead.
to be honest, 100% about. I'm even a little shocked. I got to talk about Turtle Boy because Turtle Boy has put the target of his sharpshooter lens at certain school districts. One of them
Oh yeah,
may or may
oh
not work
yeah.
for.
I
So
trust me, I know, and
the
he has done a lot of things though, dude. A lot of things like
he
parent relief
has, so
shit and
it's just I'm not really concerned, and he's left us alone for quite a number of years as well. So, um, the but in the end, there is a thing called that when you work, and you have to go through the training every year. You have to go through what is called ethics training, and then there's also a 504 training,
right.
where pretty much you have to you're a designated reporter. If you see anything that really is you consider out of line, mind you, the argument could be made again because of the fact, well, that really doesn't fall in line because of the fact if you're a coach, technically you have to get a license. And even if you're kind of a nonprofit, still, you still have to somewhat
Oh yeah,
have
the
some kind
athletic
of
commissions and
license.
everything. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. So you still need to, so you still have to go by their guidelines. And as far as their guidelines is concerned, is you have to be a designated reporter. You have to go to the proper authorities. So for him to be just, oh, it's against state and federal law. No, you are sadly mistaken. Like not sadly mistaken. You are horribly mistaken. He is mandated to do that, and is against state law to do that.
yeah,
Like just to let that go. So yeah, he is in the right.
right. So let's kind of get into that, right? So on 39 here, despite never, excuse me, having been informed by anyone at WYFC that Patterson alleged Berkowitz was abusing his own stepson, Mr. Berkowitz was banned from practice and subject to a bad faith and retaliatory filing of a complaint alleging abuse and neglect pursuant to GLC 11951A. Line 40, the act of filing a complaint pursuant to GLC 11951A was retaliation and in violation of both state and federal law, and was done so in bad faith. Here's what Turtleboy says, and it's kind of what Dan just said. Newsflash, it is his job as a mandated reporter to report abuse when he sees it.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't there on that day. This is Aiden Carney speaking, and us as well. We weren't there.
Wasn't there?
But I will say, Aiden Carney, Turtleboy, was inclined to believe that the bodybuilder who films his kid doing topless tit lifts, who has been banned from coaching, and who has admittedly handled the abusive situation with his girlfriend's 6-year-old son poorly, might be the problem.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just going to say it this way because again, I know who Jeff Berkowitz is. I just this is tough.
It was
tough.
it's a wave of emotions because it's like at first I'm just like to me it's like it's funny. It started out as funny and then it kind of just but then it turned to a point of because number one now I'm older. I work in the public education system. I have 3 nieces. I have also like 2 great nieces and a nephew and a great nephew. So it's like and plus it's like as I'm getting older, the wiser I'm getting, and the fact of that I have a softer spot for the innocence of children and things like that. Um, uh, it appalls me to read that report because of not only the kids that are involved in the situation that are affected by this, that are not the children involved, so to speak, in this family, um, but also now for the kids wide on the team and the cheer team, it's terrible. But on top of that, too, to just have when you got DCF hanging over you, that's just You never want to go there.
That's the
You never
part
want to
that
go
for me makes this more difficult to just. I'm gonna be transparent. Just be silent, right? Because like, I've watched. It's funny because we're talking about it. Obviously, I've watched some of these content creators
there. Hmm.
because I know somebody who also watches them, so I kind of get sucked into it. It's almost like some of the stuff that we would get sucked into. Maybe that's
So do
wrestling.
I.
Yeah, maybe that's wrestling. I don't know.
No, like it's literally I get it. I get it with the wife. So
Right,
it's like
but
I
like
get it.
for what I've been getting sucked into lately is Turtleboy. So like I will
Yes.
catch some of the YouTubes, other content creators I mentioned, Mazda Media, and there's Kim, the Glare, there are others in the Boston, content creation law tube space that are doing phenomenal videos and stuff. And it's like I never really thought you and I would ever do something like this.
No.
And then today it just kind of happens. It's like, is this real life right now?
Yeah, pretty much. It's like we're living in a fever dream right now where it's just like I'm still like because
And who
I
knows
was
if like we'll ever do this again, depending on maybe how this turns out.
yeah, exactly.
But it's like it's hilarious to me.
It's just I kind of made a post today on my social media. It was almost it was kind of it was how I felt, but also at the same time, it was kind of alluding to what was going on.
Oh, 100%.
Because again, there's some
Yeah.
mutual friends that know who know who Jeff is and things of that nature.
Oh yeah.
So of course there's that hook to it. And then of course tomorrow or whenever this video gets popped up, which I plan on making this on Facebook and then making just a general Facebook post because you know, I'm a loyal person. I'm very, very loyal. I've been able, and I've also been able to minimize my arguments with certain friends and of that nature for years. But this is a very rare situation right now where it's just um, like that. This is we're done. I don't even want to have a conversation. Like if he's walking down the street, I want to walk the other way type deal because it's just there's a lot of things that are coming out in this that it's just like it just changes it just changes everything around in your perception of a person. So,
So I mean, to be fair, right? So like let's not dissect, but maybe tack on to what you just said, right? Like I've already made it clear. Like I know who Jeff Berkowitz is. I met him in college. I didn't really care for him. Just we got along sometimes, but most of the time we didn't. There's a lot of drama there between myself and him that happened quite a number of years ago. I have not seen this person in like 20 years at this point, probably. I don't remember the
yeah.
last time I saw him. I don't care. Um, to that point though, I have to be honest. It's like no matter how you slice this, there are a lot of people that are going to look at Jeff Berkowitz, maybe to a lesser extent his girlfriend, like public enemy number one.
Hmm.
And I feel very badly for the children involved in this
Hmm.
because this is something they're going to have over their heads too.
Yeah. Um, this is what one of those there are there's a term in the wrestling business called nuclear heat. This is what he has right now. Like it's just
I listen.
yeah,
I'm gonna be
yeah,
transparent. Like I'm in Connecticut now. I don't live in Massachusetts. I lived in
yes.
Massachusetts for like 11 years. I still consider it my home. Um, if I was in either of their position, either them alone or together, whatever, it doesn't matter. I would be like, how do I get the fuck out of New England as soon as possible?
Exactly. Just
Especially
just
Massachusetts, but how the fuck do I get
get
out of New England?
uh it, the central Massachusetts area, just pick up and move. see if you can get out of Western Mass, see if you can get to, maybe another part of the country, because as far as this area is concerned, it's going to be very hard uh, for people to want to do business with you.
I mean, I'll say it this way: at least he's got a common name, because if you Google Jeff Berkowitz, you'd have to do his like location, because there's a lot of Jeff Berkowitzes out there. So
Yeah, from that perspective, that's one way to do it. I mean, he can get away with
But as soon as they do a
being,
background check, oh boy, oh boy,
oh boy,
oh boy.
hey, what's this Turtle Boy article? Ah,
Or this court filing, for that matter.
ah.
All right, so there's our boy Jeff in that picture there that he posted. Turtleboy goes on to say, on September 3rd, when Michelle Govin showed up to practice with her sons, but was told that she and one of her 10-year-old twins couldn't remain because it was a safety issue. So it doesn't seem like she was told what that was at the time. I believe he says that later on, or she does. Later that night, they were informed by the president, because I can't say that name anymore, that it was because the kid had threatened to gouge out other kids' eyeballs. Govin disputes that the kid ever said that, but according to the lawsuit, if the kid did say it, it's only because he has autism. So, as I've kind of mentioned, don't do that.
No.
Don't do that. So, going into the court document now again. So, line 43. After Bachant made his discriminatory remarks about Child 1, which I don't see that it's discriminatory, but okay.
No.
Unless I missed something that was said. About Child 1, Lee added, Child 1's presence was a safety issue because if Child 1, were to run the ball, his teammates might choose not to block for him due to the alleged statements he supposedly made. Okay, I guess that makes sense. Not for nothing.
I'll be right back.
I mean, it makes sense, right? But go ahead. You're fine. It makes sense, right? So again, like, he said he's gonna gouge out the kid's eyeballs. Maybe something needs to get said there. And maybe the kids don't block for him. I get it. I do. It's just, that sucks. Later that evening, on September 3rd, we're on line 44 now, of 2025, at approximately 5:50 p.m. at practice, again, the president gave a different explanation, claiming that Child 1 had allegedly threatened to gouge out eyeballs of other players, and added additional unspecified reasons why Child 1 should not play at all. So again, they're just trying to make the case that either the kid is unsafe or it's an unsafe situation. Line 45, Mondracci gave no thought or consideration to the fact that even if Child 1 said he was to gouge out eyeballs, that such statement was, more likely than not, a manifestation of Child 1's disability, which is autism. I don't like that at all. But Aiden Carney, Mr. Turtleboy, goes on, or I'm sorry, Dr. Turtleboy, goes on to say, it doesn't matter if the kid is autistic. If he is threatening to gouge out other kids' eyes, then he's a safety threat to other kids. And quite frankly, if my kid was doing this to other kids, Aiden Carney, Mr. Turtleboy, Dr. Turtleboy, I keep doing that, I apologize, Turtleboy. He does have kids. So I completely believe this statement when he says, I wouldn't want him to keep playing either. But Govin and Berkowitz decided to fire up this lawsuit instead, alleging discrimination based on child's autism. They also retaliated against other people's children by filing formal complaints against them.
What was that?
I'm confused. Insinuating that those kids should be kicked out of the league too.
Bitch.
What happened?
Did you see him go by?
No. I was reading the article still, so no.
Beetlejuice just jumped out of the closet, and then he just came running out of the room as I'm coming back in, and I'm just like, for what? What is the problem? Like, it's just a weirdo.
But yeah, I got through that page while you were gone.
Okay.
So
sorry.
No, you're fine, dude. You gotta get up. But now they're also like suing other kids' parents or something.
You're
like,
kidding me, right? No,
So
they're not.
I'll read the last part again real quick. They also retaliated against other people's children by filing a formal complaint against them. So maybe not included in the lawsuit, but filing
Oh,
complaints,
Jesus.
insinuating that the other kids should be kicked out of the league too. But I mean, I was alluding this to. I was alluding. Jesus, I'm not even that high. I was alluding to the fact that if agreeing kind of like with the filing, right, where it's like if he's threatening to gouge out other kids' eyeballs, maybe his O line's not going to block,
No, exactly.
and then that creates a
That's a good
safety
point.
issue. And
Yes.
it's like if that's the case, and that is a thought, that's a legitimate concern. You know?
Yeah, I mean, he's only looking out for the kid's safety, and you're
Yeah,
just
and
like,
it's like take out the comment. Which listen, we've all said things when we were younger we probably shouldn't have said, and I get that. But if one kid takes that the wrong way, and it's his fucking lead tackle, he's gonna get creamed. It's bad for everybody.
yes, oof, this, like, just when you think things can't get any worse,
Yeah.
don't worry, the bar gets lower.
Yep. So next, and he underlines this in purple, I don't know why. On line 50, Miss Galvin asserted a formal complaint about two other players, player 1 and player 2, when it was clear that her child 1, was being treated differently than other non-disabled players. A true and accurate copy, blah, 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 the attachment for the exhibits in the court case. Mandaccia, or the president, whatever, I don't know how to say this name, responded 6 minutes later at 8:10 a.m. and stated, "As I told you yesterday, you will get a redacted copy of the final report. And when the final decision is made, and if there's a punishment, you have the right to appeal in front of the board." They're basically saying, like, appeal it if you want. Just, we've talked about this. You'll get a copy. If you want to appeal. Follow proper channels.
Right.
So it goes on to say, the next day, Galvin called the town of Sterling, where they live, where the games and practices are held, or whatever, they live there or around there, whatever.
Right.
And complained that the league wasn't letting her kids play football anymore. Keep in mind that the league just uses the town's fields. So she was basically going over their heads and trying to get an uninvolved party to feel bad for her by using her children, in the hopes that they would pressure the league to let her kids back in.
Right.
Then she wrote an email to the league demanding that the two other children be investigated and suspended from playing football until it was resolved. Listen, again, just we have to look at it through the lens of he's writing this as a parent himself too. Okay,
Yes.
so some of this he might be able to empathize with, some of it, clearly he doesn't and doesn't care, and I don't disagree with feeling either way towards that. I think as a parent, she has a right to defend her children to a certain extent, but I also feel that you kind of said something earlier, and it's starting to hold true for her now too, where it's like certain K name that we call Jeff that I'm just not going to say about her because for a woman I feel it's more derogatory, but still, just, it's kind of how it feels right now. Just throwing it out there. So
vibe I'm getting, allegedly.
Line 58. Ms. Galvin again requested the specifics of the complaints and reports of misconduct by child 1. So this, it looks like a whole document here, so I'm just going to kind of blaze through this if I can. Accordingly, I requested the following in writing, and I'm just going to read this part where he highlighted confirmation that my bullying complaint against X name, I'm not going to read them out loud, will be investigated with equal seriousness, including their temporary suspension pending the outcome. Since this does relate to Jeff, though, I want to read the next one. This is number 5, right below the highlighted section. Clarification on why Jeff was banned from attending practices without any direct communications to parents regarding the accusations against him. So, this is like a multifaceted issue. I feel like this isn't just about the kids at this point. I feel it's about him too. Because to that point, right, if you're kicking out the kid, why is he also kicked out?
Right.
And again, we have the previous things that were mentioned in the documentation showing that there were issues with Jeff too, it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
So, just, this is like a whole mess now. Turtle Boy goes on to say after that the town of Sterling contacted the Youth Football League and told them that about Gavin going over their heads to try to strong arm the league to let our kids back in. Mandatria said in an email that the town said the league had made the right decision, and the board unanimously voted to ban the parents and 3 of the 4 children from the league because they had attempted to hinder the organization's ability to function in the town of Sterling. What are you doing? Just what are you doing?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what happened to lead to this point of
Again, like, just what kind of person are you where you sue a non-profit? I get it, man. You really want your kids involved, and I 100% respect that. But this isn't the way to do it.
no, not at all. Not at other people's expenses for no reason.
Exactly. I can't. All right. Line 60. On September 5th, 2025, Mandraccia emailed the plaintiffs and stated, I received a call today from the Sterling Recreational Department alerting me to your report. They mentioned that we, Wachusett, were handling the situation correctly and did not believe that you had a basis to claim discrimination. A true and accurate copy, blah, blah, blah. Mandraccia, again, now 61, continued. I spoke to the board about your action, and we unanimously agreed that your unprovoked attempt to hinder the organization's ability to function in the town of Sterling will not be tolerated. Line 62. Incredibly, Mandraccia then doubled down and said, we voted unanimously to remove you both and children 1 to 4 from the program. As a sign of good faith, we will offer a refund for the kids in exchange for a return of all equipment. Turtle Boy goes on to state, the league did allow the 6-year-old, who Berkowitz had admittedly grabbed during practice and yelled at, to continue to play. However, this is where our story starts to suck, the biological father of Gavin's 2 older children found out that his kids were banned and tried contacting the league to change their mind. Listen, I don't know anything about their dynamic and their relationships and whatever, but like, if you have an involved biological parent that wants to be in these kids' lives and stuff, now it's like you're messing that up too. It's just, this is a mess. I feel so bad for these kids, man.
It is a giant dumpster fire.
It is. All right, line 63. What ensued next was an email exchange where Mandraccia explained that only child 1, 2, and 4 were, in quotes, banned. Child 3, Miss Gavin's biological child, was not banned, so long as he was accompanied by his father, the biological father, I'm not going to say the name, and not Miss Gavin. To date, am I still on the right page? I can't see now. So long as accompanied by the father, by Tavrana. Okay. And not Miss Gavin. To date, none of this information has been produced because it either does not exist or the defendant had no intention of producing it. Copies of the email exchange attached, blah, blah, blah. Line 64. On December 5th, 2025, Child 1's biological father, Keith Lovejoy. What's Reverend Lovejoy's first name?
I forget.
Oh, it's Timothy, I think.
Oh, Timothy. Reverend.
I thought we had it. Yeah.
Reverend Lovejoy.
Reverend Lovejoy.
I hate his wife so much.
Oh, I know.
She's the worst. She's the absolute worst.
I saw the Runaway Bride thing with Mo, and I was like, oh, God. Mrs. Lovejoy, please stop. Keith Lovejoy learned that his sons were being terminated. Sorry, I've lost my place. From the Wachusett 10U team. As it was explained to me, their mother Michelle and the board had some issues, and sent an email to Mandraccia. He sent the email at 8:47 p.m. and then true copy, blah, blah, blah. So, just, wow. So Turtleboy then writes after line 64, keep in mind, Heath Lovejoy's kids are being kicked out of the league because of the behavior of the guy his baby mama is currently dating. So, again, it says the name. You can probably read it. I'm not going to read it out loud. I'm trying to protect a lot of people here for no reason, apparently. Her baby daddy, I guess, kid was allegedly abused by the same guy. None of these issues would be happening if Miss Garvin didn't choose to be in a relationship with Mr. Berkowitz and allow him to touch her kids, yell at them, and act like a dirtbag in front of other people and their children. I'll just ask the question, like, I'll phrase it for a specific reason they won't understand that maybe nobody else will, but tell him when he's telling lies.
No.
Tell him when he's telling lies.
This was so hard to wrap my head around at certain points. Like, I mean, it's just
So Turtle Boy kind of gives her like an open letter. On this page, Jeff is shown in an interview from Channel 5, which I think we kind of alluded to before in a different picture. Turtle Boy writes kind of an open letter, as I said. Dear Michelle, if you allow a man into your life who is a magnet for controversy and thinks he can yell and swear at your kids in public, then you are part of the problem. If I were the father of... This is Turtle Boy talking. If Turtle Boy were the father of her children, he'd be rip shit that you were letting someone like this around your kids. And that due to those actions, my kids could no longer play football. That's entirely on you. Nevertheless, Michelle Garvin took to Facebook to make a whole post about how the league is discriminating against her kids due to their autism, while making zero mention of her boyfriend's behavior. Because again, I feel like the crux of this isn't just the kid or his autism. I think it's also about Jeff's behavior. I don't know if that's the vibe you're getting from this, but... Or maybe that's how this article is written. Or maybe it's the fact that this is all court documented information.
Everything that I'm getting is... and everything that I'm reading from this is that there seems to be an issue, and there's one common person that seems to be the issue.
I don't want to say it just that way, but I feel like a lot of it probably wouldn't have come up had he not. I'll just say interjected.
See, I didn't name names. I just
no,
said
no. But I'm just. I didn't either.
Yeah,
I didn't either. All right, so this is a very long Facebook post that Michelle Garvin posted. It says 15 minutes ago. I don't know when this actually was posted or when it was pulled, so just bear that in mind. Might have been today, might have been another day. I have no idea. But this is Michelle Garvin again on Facebook talking about this. I'm going to kind of try to blaze through this because it's very weighty. But it does kind of explain maybe her side and maybe a little bit of Jeff's side, which I think is just fair. So she writes, I need to share what has been happening to my family because no parent and no child should ever have to face this. My son Micah, who is autistic, has played youth football for 4 years without a single problem. This month, he was suddenly barred from practice. At first, I was told it was due to vague complaints with no explanation. Later, the story changed to an alleged comment about gouging out eyes. Then, days later, after my lawyer instructed the team to stop contacting me directly, which I don't understand why that would happen, yet another new allegation appeared claiming Micah said he would kill everyone on the team. None of this was ever documented or addressed at the time of the accusation, and it was never heard coming from Micah's mouth. I was sitting right next to him when he was crying from being bullied. That same night, Micah came to me heartbroken and also spoke to his head coach, Jared Loshart. He spoke to the two teammates, one being the son of an assistant coach, had been bullying him by throwing him to the ground and telling him, you suck and you don't belong here. While listening to Micah, Coach Jared actually praised him for how hard he was working. Yet nothing about the bullying was ever investigated, documented, or reported to me, his father, or anyone else. So listen, if that happened, just saying that's unfortunate.
Right.
That is a failure at some level.
Exactly.
But again, just it is a nonprofit. You need to kind of bear that in mind too.
Right.
Just saying. I'm not trying to fault anybody. Is what I'm trying to say. Really.
No, I'm not. I'm
You
not
know.
saying that any of the claims that she has made did not
I'm
happen.
not saying any of this happened because this is
No.
all alleged. We have no idea.
Yes.
We're reading an
Allegedly.
article. We're reading an article. But
We're
some
reading
of
an
this
article.
stuff
Correct.
obviously must have happened because it's court documented
Yes.
information.
Yes.
So, again, instead of investigating the bullying Micah endured, the league turned against us. They told me I couldn't even stay to watch my other 3 children practice, knowing I would never just leave my young kids alone. And listen, as a parent, that's completely fair.
Yes.
But maybe you could ask to go sit in the car that still has a visible view of the field, like something, right? There could have been an accommodation that maybe could have been made. Just saying. They made a false report to DCF after I questioned their handling of things. So again, it seems like the DCF case was more against Chef than anything else. But again, we don't know what the outcome of that was. If it,
Right.
whatever. So again, this was in the previous documentation that we talked about, where they asked them to return the equipment. They forced us to return equipment to the police station and threaten legal action. So that we didn't really see much of that, so we don't know if that happened. That's what she said, but we don't know if that happened. It is entirely possible though, if they were renting the equipment, then it's very likely they could have sent something like that. But we don't know. Again, we don't know. So if they were forced to, return it to the police, that feels a little excessive. But I mean, again, we don't know if that happened.
They were offered their full money back, like a full refund.
Yeah, it did say that.
Usually when a place like that offers the full money refund, that's more or less just them saying, we're
Please
done
stop.
here.
Yeah.
We're done here.
But I mean, here's why I'm kind of focusing on that for a second though.
Yeah.
If that did happen, that shows they are kind of please stop.
Yeah, exactly.
There might be an issue there.
Yeah.
It's already been a DCF case, like what was talked about. So I mean, that's another concern entirely that we didn't touch too much on, but it's the same thing. It's like, hey, you need to be away from us.
Right.
So again, if that happened, it didn't seem like the case in what the legal documentation up to this point anyways has shown. So we don't know if that's accurate. It's a little sketchy. She goes on in her post to say that in retaliation, they didn't just punish Micah, they also removed me, my boyfriend Jeff, my son Liam, and my stepson Cody from the program. Why? Because I called the town of Sterling to confirm whether they could legally ban me from attending practices, and because I contacted the Department of Developmental Services, for guidance and support. Well, again, that's no mention of that up to this point, right? It didn't seem like that was the case from what was discussed in legal documentation, that was why she contacted Sterling. It seems like they're trying to get it back on.
Right.
So, I mean, it's, again, just little differences that make this a little bit strange. MCAD, which is the Massachusetts Commission Against Discrimination, has now authorized us to take this case directly to the Superior Court. This is not just about football. It's about disability discrimination, retaliation, and protecting children's rights. I am disgusted by how our family has been treated, but I refuse to stay silent. No child should be excluded or punished because of autism. She is right about that. And no parent should face retaliation for standing up for their kids. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
If you've experienced something similar, now we're going to a far different post, I feel like. If you've experienced something similar, or know of resources, advocacy groups, or ways to support us as we take this to court, please reach out. Not looking, she spells fur, which I don't know, a little weird to me. Of all the things she could mistype. An army looking, oh yeah, she's actually misspelling a lot now. There's stuff I could say, I'm just keeping my mouth shut. Not looking, I'm just going to read it how it's supposed to be. I apologize. Not looking for an army, looking for parents who have strong morals And I can't even read this now. Stand up for what's right. I will fight, not only for my sons, but for any child who is treated this way. I refuse to be the person who watches injustice happen and does nothing. I will stand up, speak out, and take this all the way. Because our kids deserve safety, fairness, and a chance to belong. If you've been hurt by bullying or discrimination, I see you and I will fight with you. I mean, a bunch of hashtags I'm not going to bother with. But listen, we don't know some of the in-betweens to this story, so we're not going to make a lot of comments about it. But it's like, as you and I have already kind of said, it is very unfortunate what's happening to these children.
Yes.
It is. Because it's a nonprofit thing, and it's like, I don't know anything about their town to say. You know, maybe somebody in the comments can educate you or I. Like, did they not have town services that involve sports programs? Are they not able to get it through the school district? Whatever the case may be, right? I know a lot of this stuff, some towns pay for it, some towns don't, and that's kind of why I'm saying it that way. But it's like, if there is a legitimate concern, and even taking the DCF thing out of it, if there is a legitimate concern, people need to say something. If they're feeling like somebody or a lot of people, a group of people are in danger, again, not just thinking the DCF case, but sports in general, if you recognize that somebody's going to hurt themselves doing something, you step in and you do something about it.
Correct.
You don't just let it happen.
No.
So it's like, if they felt, take his autism out of the situation, right? If they felt he was unsafe in a sport like football, they 100% should remove him.
Yes.
I understand if these two want their son to really be proactive and be active in sports, maybe you can come to some kind of an accommodation, like you need to sit, be a bench warmer.
Right.
I hate to kind of say that about anybody, let alone somebody on the spectrum, but it's like, there are compromises that you can make in life, whether it be this, that, whatever, that would have led to a better outcome than this. It's really unfortunate, because I 100% understand where she's coming from when she says, like, I feel like this punishes all my kids.
Right.
Right. And even if she doesn't directly say that, that's the vibe I'm getting. And it's unfortunate. Like, I feel bad. But I just feel like I said, like, this isn't how you handle that situation. I get it. Like, you want to be proactive, you want your son in this and all this other stuff, and that's awesome. Like, be involved in your kids' lives. I love that. But, like, maybe there's a better way of handling that situation than taking this way.
It's all of it is just no good, and just there's really no winners out of this situation right now.
Yep. So she had another Facebook post. I kind of blew through that, but I apologize. But so Turtle Boy goes back on. He goes, "For fuck's sake," and then quotes her, "I refuse to be the person watching injustice happen and do nothing." And it's like, you could tell that he just got triggered by this.
I know, yeah.
Lady, you are not Martin Luther King. Your kid is threatening to gouge out other kids' eyeballs. Your boyfriend is grabbing and screaming at your 6-year-old in public. And you tried and failed to get the town to cancel the league for doing their job. Obviously, they're not going to want to keep you around, because all your family does is cause problems. Sadly, the kids and their uninvolved fathers are the ones who also suffer because of your shitty life choices. He just goes in on her. It's funny. I feel bad. I totally get it, but it's just tough. The bottom line is that suing a nonprofit youth football league into bankruptcy because your boyfriend and your kids are out of control is a douche move. Let's hope the kids can get this lawsuit dismissed quickly, and that some lawyer out there can help them with their case in a cost-effective manner. So she has another post here. I think this is kind of the same one about being excited, Best of Boston. Yeah, it's the same one. She does have another post here that he pulls, and everything he has redacted himself. So I didn't have to do anything here, thank God. But apparently in Metro West Business and Events Networking Group, she posts, "To every single parent out there chasing dreams while juggling life, keep going. Your kids are watching, and they're learning what resilience looks like. Serving all of Massachusetts, in-home IV hydration, wellness, recovery, call text. I'm not going to read that number. And then she has a website, mobile IV therapy near Boston, blah, 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 blah. So these are comments and posts. And again, like, this is due to the lawsuit. And this, I think, and again, court of public opinion, you can kind of need to expect this when you do something like this. I don't know what was posted, again, because it's the most relevant, not all comments. Second, stop punishing our community for your actions. Stand with WYFC, which, if you go back before, this is the youth program. They made a hashtag about this because of they're in dire straits of funding because of this issue. Somebody else writes, so unfortunate and disgraceful that you and your boyfriend are suing a nonprofit organization that serves so many children in the community when your boyfriend was 1,000% in the wrong for the way he verbally abused your child and aggressively grabbed him and shook him. I pray you find Jesus, leave your abusive boyfriend, and give up this lawsuit.
Oh,
that's rough.
Yeah.
I can't blame people how they feel, man.
No, can't do that. Can't do it. Hey, look, we're just repeating what people have said. It's not us saying that.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot I could say right now. I'm keeping my mouth shut.
I know. It's tough.
No, it's not even that. It's just...
I know.
You remember that? No. Hold on. You remember the time we drove into Boston to go pick somebody up?
Mm-hmm.
And the whole, I don't want to get sued?
Yep.
Okay. That's how I feel. So it's like I got to walk that line. But I'm still loving it, man.
Yeah.
I feel bad, though, too. It's like a wave. It's like I'm in a glass case of emotion. Dude, if you and I weren't recording this shit right now, I would be saying so much bullshit, but I can't.
It's just because we're adults, and too, it's just like we're ready to. Plus, it's like, oh, there's kids involved and stuff. It's just.
But that's the thing. Like, I do feel bad for the kids. Like, I really do.
I do. I feel really bad for the kids.
It's unfortunate, you know.
And plus, I'm also like, well, if he sues like a non-profit football league, he wouldn't mind, you know, to maybe going after ex-friends of his. Well, one ex-friend, another one.
I think, but you know what though? It's like, here's another thing I feel bad for it. And again, like, I should not feel bad for her given all of this information right now and some of the things that she allegedly has done, right? I'm not going to say she did them. I don't know. And I don't know if her part of the story either is accurate or holds weight or anything. I'm not going to pass my judgment on her. That's not my job. My job right now is just to talk about this. But it just... I'm going to go back, actually. So, just real quick. Like, this is backtracking just a couple pages, if you will. She's obviously trying to network. Right? Like, she's posting it in Boston Businesswomen on Facebook group, it looks like. She's talking about Metro West business and events, and it's like talking about her life and basically what she wants. And like, listen, like, all the power to that. I wish I was that outgoing. Holy shit. But it's like, I feel bad because this is going to be like all over her.
Yeah, this is it's not good. Like, if
not
you're
good. It's not good.
Especially it's if you're trying to do the networking thing, you're also trying to do like the competing thing for, you know, health and fitness, or if you have a personal training business or things of that nature, they can look stuff up now. You know, they can look stuff up and they can be like, oh, I don't know if I want to do business with this person because of this situation. And, you know,
that's what I said earlier. Like, get out of New England, man.
Yeah, you might want to, because this is a bad look. This is a really bad spot. Man, I did not have this on my bingo card within the first like 10 days of the new year.
I have to say this. Like, I have to say it. It's just funny. Again, like, I think we kind of led with this. We talked about it on our other show, which we will not name right now. But it's just like, from fucking YouTube anyway. You should know what the other show is. I don't know why I bothered with that. Anyways, I just, you know, I have to look at it from this perspective, right? Like we talked about it. We've had bad weeks. You and I both had a very bad week. Certain things transpired in both our personal lives, both separately and together, and it was like, fuck, man. And I woke up to something today that I was really down about, and I was like, I was bracing for an awful fucking day,
Right.
and now I'm still bracing for an awful night. It's not going to affect me now, but this there's things that happen in your life that I think you look back on and you're like, that is awful, but you can laugh at it now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly this moment. Like, I could look at this entire conversation that we've had, reading this post by Turtleboy on Turtleboy News by Aiden Carney, that, like, I laugh, I cried, I had the best of times. Like, it really is that. But it's because I know who he is, right? Like, if I didn't know who this person was, who Jeff Berkowitz was, I wouldn't give two shits. I'd be like, this is another news story that I'm probably not going to pay attention to. And now I look at it as this, like, where can I find more?
You're not the only person I know that's kind of take a victory lap by it. And I don't think he would mind me really even mentioning that out there. It's just a fact of that. It's he's it's
I support that though. I just
I do.
So I'll say it this way: I'm not going to take anything you just said about him away. And if you want to continue with that, by all means. I'm not going to take that away from him of all people either.
No. It's like he has every right. In my opinion, it is one of the most warranted like reasons.
Oh, 1,000,000%.
And
1,000,000%.
and I'm a very loyal person. Like there's been a lot of people that have asked me over the years, why are you friends with this person? Why are you friends with this person? Why are you friends with this person? And the common ones was, why are you friends? It was always certain people. And
I know I said about, listen, I'll say it this way. I know I said it about both of them at one point, but one of them I actually understood and didn't care as much.
Yeah.
And we all know who that actually is because,
right. Yeah.
But it was never like a hatred thing. It was just like, he knows, it's just sometimes people.
And now everybody's a cohesive unit. Everybody, gets along. Except a couple, but not.
But there's no like abject hatred.
No, there's no animosity.
There's no hatred, right? Like I don't, and this applies to him too. Like I don't hate Jeff Berkowitz. I don't.
No,
I'm not his biggest fan. I doubt he's mine. I don't really give two shits. But like, I don't hate the guy. I think this is very unfortunate. But I also I've let go a lot of hate in life, right? Like I'm a little bit older than him, I think, by not much, but still. So I could say this, like I let go a lot of hate. I don't need him anymore. But there was a time where I probably did maybe hate him.
No, and the thing about it is that I've never hated him. We've had a decent, very good relationship over the last 20 some odd years. It did change a little bit, probably in the last, probably since he became a dad. And that was maybe, which I always kind of questioned if I felt like maybe that I should reach out more, things like that. But now I don't have to really kind of, because I'm coming into this now and it's just like, I don't have to.
Is that relief, Dan?
It's not relief, but more or less it's just like, I don't need at least now I know it's like that. I don't have to deal with the questions anymore of like, why do you still talk to this person? Why do you still like that question now is just
Well,
is
I
gone.
think the question changed now, right?
Yeah,
I
the
think the question
question is
changed
changed.
to, do you still talk to him?
No, 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 no.
Well, of course not. That's the answer, right?
It's now at the point of where it's just if you want to try and reach out, bud, it's not gonna happen. Like it's just that ship has sailed. It's just that's too much. This situation is too
Is,
much to kind of really intake of, or kind of it's one of those things of I don't want to be associated with it. So I'm abstaining from this. So please lose my number.
well, I mean, we could sit here and talk about this all night, but I think I got the perfect ending point. Jeff, all I can say to you is goodbye, good luck, and fuck you. Good night, everybody. Thank you for watching.
Good night, everybody.